Hey, what's happening, fellow Hoosiers? Welcome to the first episode of Indiana Football Live here with you on this Thursday evening. Excited for week number 4 coming up here as Indiana gets set to host Akron at the Rock, 7:30 Eastern time kick. I'm Rhett Lewis, color analyst on the Indiana Football Radio broadcast with my buddy Don Fisher. We'll be up in the booth at the Rock on Saturday night. Can't wait to kick this thing off. Also host on NFL Network and of course, played at IU from 2001 to 2005, and just really excited here with this first attempt to kind of better interact with all your fellow Hoosiers out there. Everybody's interested in this program and wants to see what's going on, and just give a better chance to kind of recap what happened the previous week, and most importantly, look forward to the week that is to come. So. Certainly excited to get this thing rolling here, and I hope you guys will join us each and every Thursday, same time, same place, 7 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to take your comments and questions at the end of the show. So we'll be here for about 20 minutes or so. So if you're on YouTube, on the Indiana University Athletics YouTube page, you'll be able to submit comments, questions, and we'll get to those here. And this will eventually be available on demand on the IU Hoosiers website as well. So we're going to do that. I'm going to give you my final 5 thoughts from the Louisville game. We'll look ahead to 3 things that will be important for this Akron game. But most importantly, here today, we're going to have an opportunity to chat with 2 of the very best that we have seen play the linebacker position. One still doing it here at Indiana over the course of the last decade or so. And so I'm going to introduce them one at a time. And first off, got to welcome in a guy who had 10 tackles, 2 sacks in the game against Louisville, has been a force for the Indiana football defense here these first 3 games. One of the best defenders in the country over the course of the last couple of games. Let's welcome in Aaron Casey. What's up, Ace? How we doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good. That was a good intro. I like that.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Well, you keep playing like that. The intros keep coming, man. We'll get to you and what you've been up to these first 3 games. But we got to say hello to a guy who I know you know and love well, like we all do here at IU, a new Kansas City Chiefs linebacker and one of the best to do it for IU at the linebacker spot the last few years. Cam Jones, C4, is back, now added a 4 to the jersey number in KC. What's up, Cam? How we doing, man?
Man, all good. Can't complain at all. How's everything going with yourself?
We're great, man. We're good. We're looking forward to getting IU back to 500 this week with win number 2. If everything goes the way we expect it to go here this week, and certainly excited to talk to you here a little bit. I'm going to get to you here in a second, Cam, but I know you've had a chance to watch some of what IU's been up to, and Ace has been all over the field. Ace, you've got, like I've set it up in the booth with Don, it feels like at times you have a GPS to the football. The reads, the recognition, and then the execution to get runners, to get quarterbacks down on the ground. What goes into all that for you where you see things, you have an idea of what's coming before it's happening?
Yeah, it's a whole lot of see ball, get ball in the linebacker room for us. But really, what goes in the week of preparation, just going through meetings and getting a good look at practice with the scout teams and everything, it really means a lot to our defense and me being able to attack the ball.
Yeah, and Cam, I'd love to get your thought on that because I know that Ace loved playing with you. You loved playing with him, and you guys fed off each other last year when you guys were both on the field together. How have you seen Ace develop in his game to where he's playing, as one of the best linebackers in this conference here this year?
Yeah, I think that, a lot of people don't see the work that Ace has put in, over the years, day in and day out. He's just been a worker. He's been a dog. And I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I have watched some football throughout my years, and just seeing him on field, you can just see his athleticism, his instincts to the football, his quickness. It shows, and there's no reason he shouldn't be a top linebacker in college football, without a doubt. The plays he's been making, it's been awesome. It's been awesome to see. And I'm proud of you, bro.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love it. I love seeing the interaction. And you know what? I would have invited Micah McFadden here to the stream, but he's a little busy tonight as a starting linebacker for the New York Giants as they're getting ready to play and kick off on Thursday Night Football against the San Francisco 49ers tonight. But I know you guys all, when you guys were all in the linebacker room together, man, that must have been some fun, getting to bounce ideas off each other, talk about football that way with three guys who, in their own rights, have done some great things for Indiana. And Ace, with Cam here and watching Cam work, while he was here and while you guys were together, and then seeing the way that he worked to get to where he's at now, as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs 53-man roster, playing a bunch, on special teams. Just got his first tackle this past week for the Chiefs as they got their first win of the season. What's it been like for you to see Ace kind of continue the football dream and succeed, at the highest level now?
Yeah, is this a question for me or for him?
Yeah, sorry, man. Ace, I meant for Cam, seeing Cam succeed at the highest level. So, Ace, what's that been like for you to see that?
Man, it's good. Like, I just know, like, the type of mindset Cam has, and there's nobody else with the mindset I've been around like his. And just, like, from the moment we stepped on campus together, just growing up together playing college ball, just seeing how he works, seeing how he attacks every day with that certain mindset, dominating mindset. It's just something I fed off of. And, like, the type of leader he is, he just naturally just pours that into me and all the teammates that were around us at the time. So just seeing that he was able to do what he had planned to do in his career at IU, and then also making it to the next level and showing up and doing this thing at the highest level is just awesome to see.
Man, that's really cool. And
Yeah.
Cam, I know you worked, a ton. You talk about the work that Ace has put in, but Cam, working to come back from the injury, that you had midseason last year, for one, and then working to get to the league, right? And then working to make the roster for the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champion. Give us a sense of what that feeling is like. 'Cause I know the work's not done. There's still a lot more left to go, and I know you want to keep contributing more and more each week with this team. So give us a sense of what that journey's been like now for you, going from IU to KC.
Yeah, I always tell myself I'm blessed. I'm blessed and highly favored. And, honestly, I can't do it, without the people that surround me, without my love and support. People like Ace Hood, people that, we talk every week. We make a priority to call each other every single week just to check up on each other. My family and friends, just all the love and support. And I know that it's a day-to-day grind, no days off. And I try to tell Ace Hood that, and he tell me that as well. So we just kind of feed off each other, and we always say, just keep going.
I love it. Keep going, and that's the mindset here. I mean, 9 games left this season, Ace, and a lot of work left to be done. A lot of opportunities left. Opportunity for this week against Akron. Get into that here in just a second. But since I got both of you guys here, I'd love to get your description of what it's like from a linebacker's perspective to play in this defense with IU, this swarm D, right? To have a chance to put your name up on that wall in the team room, right? As a guy who understands what the DNA of swarm defense is, tackling takeaways, fanatical effort, all of that, and how that puts you in a position as a linebacker. Cam, I'll start with you, and then Ace, you just jump in when Cam finishes, of the responsibilities you have as a linebacker in this defense, and then how it also benefits your skill sets to go out there and make plays.
Yeah, so for those that don't know Coach Allen, he's just a hard-nosed defensive linebacker coach. He's always been in every single linebacker meeting I've been in, and he's always been the guy that kind of I went to if I needed help or if I was confused or if I was just like, Coach, this won't work. Let's try this. He's always been that type of coach, and playing in swarm D defense. Swarm to the ball. It's a defense that allows linebackers to be able to make those big plays and come out with what Ace Hood have 10 tackles, 2 TFLs. Like, yeah, man, who wouldn't want to come play linebacker in Indiana? So just looking at what Ace is doing this season, it just shows you how fun that defense is.
Yeah,
What do you think,
and
Ace?
also just going into like our defensive mindset and everything, we all like revolve around trust and trusting each other. 11 guys, it takes the whole 11 to get the job done. So that was really like something that we would really instill in this off season and just in our preparation week to week about how we're going to go out there and play with, like you said, fanatical effort. It's part of our DNA. So just guys who are all buying in. We have a lot of new guys on the team that are making filling big roles in our team and on our defense. And so just all those guys trusting one another and buying into Swarm D culture is just like we're just going to shine, and
Yeah.
we're going to shine from it. And everybody gets to eat.
There it is. All right, last ones here for you guys, and then we'll keep this party rolling. I know you guys got a lot going on. Ace got to continue getting into that game plan here for Akron. I know you got a big game coming up here this week against the Chicago Bears. Cam, so Cam, let me just get your thoughts just on this defense as a whole and on this team as a whole that you've seen here through 3 games, and what you think is still left out there for this IU football team here in 2023 to accomplish in these final 9 games.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy sitting back watching IU
I
these
bet.
past 3 weeks. And I texted Coach Wilt, I texted Ace Hood, I texted Noah Pierre, and I just told him, like, man, y'all are flying around to the ball. This defense is special. Y'all have energy, y'all have a swagger that we really haven't had in a while, and it's special.
Yeah.
And y'all can be great only if you want to be great. So I just kind of tell them that. Like I said, Coach Noah and Ace Hood, just to always say keep your foot on their neck, and keep applying pressure. So I'm excited for them, and the sky's the limit for them.
There it is. Ace, so for you, and look, a lot of goals, season wide, but it's a week to week thing here, right? And this week it's Akron. They are the opponent. They are the opportunity. Big one, obviously, to close out the non-conference schedule before getting back into conference play against Maryland at the end of this month. So what's it take to get the best defensive effort that we've seen from IU so far this season, this week against Akron?
And I just think we really have to play our best for the full 60 minutes and be the best version of ourselves. We showed how good we could be in the second half of the last game with the second half shutout, and just knowing that what we're capable of, and going out there and really just applying that pressure and not letting up. And I think we've been preparing well, and I think we're all healthy enough to play in this game coming up on Saturday. I just think that we're gonna go out and dominate as we should.
There it is. Can't wait to see it. Ace, Aaron Casey, thanks so much for being with us. Cam, appreciate you, man. Ace, I'll see you on Friday and Saturday. Can't wait to get back to Bloomington. And Cam, hope we can catch up again here real soon, man. But best of luck against the Bears this week, and can't wait to watch you the rest of this season with the Chiefs, bud. Thanks,
yes,
guys.
Sir. Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right,
Thank
fellas.
you.
Y'all have a good one. Aaron Casey and Cam Jones with us on this inaugural edition of Indiana Football Live here. We are streaming this on the IU Athletics YouTube page, on the Indiana Football Twitter account. And if you're with us on the YouTube page, you can comment, send some questions. We'll take those, at the end of this show. If there are any, getting set for this Akron game. So excited about that. And then, what I like to do here each and every week is kind of look back and kind of close the book on the game that was, and give 5 thoughts from that game, and then look ahead here before we get to questions and comments about the game that's coming up. So we'll get to Akron here in just a second, but just to close the book on Louisville. Again, tale of 2 halves, obviously, but I want to focus on some of the really encouraging things that I saw in this game. We'll start with Taven Jackson. And you'll see my final 5 thoughts here scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I thought Taven Jackson, for a young player making his first start as the guy, right, as the quarterback for IU, was really poised. I was really impressed with the way that he executed the game plan. Sure, were there some things he missed? Were there some reads he missed? Were there some plays that were left out there to be made that weren't? Absolutely. But again, we're talking about minimal experience in college football for a redshirt freshman at this point, and it's only going to get better. But 2 things that I came away with really encouraged. Number one, Taven's got athleticism that you need as a quarterback in college football these days. The athleticism to get out of trouble when he needs to. But here's the thing that's really cool is that even when he is out there manipulating, the pocket, moving in and outside, trying to get out of trouble if there is some, he's always focused downfield to try to make a play through the air, right? It's not, let's escape the pocket with a mindset to run. Now, sometimes you might have that, but for the most part, it feels like just watching him and watching him on tape, his mindset is to get out of trouble, get out of the pocket, scramble around, and try to find a way to get it to one of his playmakers down the field. I think you saw that a number of times in this game, particularly on that Donovan McCulley deep in breaking route, or actually it was a deep over route. He ended up finding Donovan late in the progression, which I thought was really cool. The down the field pass to Cam Camper down that right sideline in the second half was awesome. And then the second thing, and it's kind of related, is that even when there is a free blitzer in his face, if there is a defensive lineman that gets free and is coming straight for him, he knows where to go with the football in the face of pressure, and his eyes stay downfield. They don't drift down to the rush. I think you saw that on a play where Ashton Gelati, number 9, the Louisville defensive end, had a free shot on Taven, and he's able to throw a dime to Bradley Archer right up the left hash mark. And by the way, side note, I think Bradley Archer has been a phenomenal addition to this team at the tight end spot. I think he's got even more to give to IU in the pass game than we've seen. I think we started to see it a little bit in the second half and in this game against Louisville. But I thought Taven was really good, and I think he's only going to get better, and that's really encouraging for a young player, who's got ability to really grow with this program over the next couple of years. The second one, Dre's burst, Andre Carter. It's impossible not to see and watch the explosion that he has from his defensive end spot right off the line. On any given down, he can be in the backfield in the blink of an eye. And I think that is obviously something that is probably on scouting reports for opposition so far this year and will be down the stretch of this season. But you saw it a lot, and getting to the mesh point really quick, providing some pressure, giving the quarterback something to think about because he knows Carter is breathing down his neck here. And even if he doesn't get home to the quarterback, he's still speeding up the process of the QB. He's, eyes of the running back. They're like, all right, where's number 1 in red or in white? We got to find him. We got to know where he's at. And that's so valuable. He actually also just made one of my buddies, Tom Van Haren's list of the top 22 transfers in college football so far this season at the defensive end spot. So Andre Carter obviously has been as advertised. Number 3, and this goes unnoticed a lot of times, but I think what you see with Indiana's offense a lot of times is the want to attack the perimeter. And that can happen through the triple option game. That can happen by throwing a quick high percentage completion pass to, either Jalen Lucas lined up as a wide receiver or out to a wide receiver. But in order to make those plays work, the wide receivers lined up with those guys have to block their tails off. And I was just really impressed with the way Donovan McCulley and Cam Camper in particular were out there. I mean, you want to talk about, now, it's desire is one thing, but then execution is another. They had both of them a number of times to help free J. Lou up a bunch in space. And those are the kind of things that turn, a 2 or 3 yard gain into a 12 or 13 yard gain. It's those wide receivers blocking on the perimeter. And I know Coach Anthony Tucker does a great job with that wide receiver group. I think you continue to see development from Omar Cooper, from Cam Perry, from DQ. And so I'm really excited about that group because they do the dirty work then to make the explosive plays happen, like you saw with McCulley a couple of times, like you saw with Cam Camper, down in the end zone, setting up the second touchdown, down an explosive play down the right sideline that I talked about a minute ago. So I really like what those guys are up to right now. And then we get EJ back healthy here at some point. That'll be another big boost. The fourth thing, J. Lou to the moon, man. J. Lou in space is what I mean here, because that is the winning ticket. Finding creative in different ways, and I've been really impressed with the way that Coach Walt Bell is trying to get the ball to number 12 in a number of different ways, either as the the running back in a triple option, or lined up in the slot as a wide receiver, which we saw a ton against Louisville here this last week. Getting the ball to him quickly and just letting him go make plays. I think you saw his ability to catch the football down the field in this game, the one-handed catch he had from Taven against Louisville. Number 12 is a home run hitter and a playmaker from anywhere on the field, and getting him the ball remains a huge priority. And it's great to kind of see that transpire against Louisville and really this season. We saw it on the ground really against Indiana State, saw it in the pass game a bunch against Louisville, and it does not matter where. Those are yards, whether they're rushing or passing yards, they are yards. And then the fifth thing and the final thing here on the Louisville game is some of those young defensive players really showed their ability to be coachable in this game. Yeah, they made some mistakes, right? Coach Allen talked about it with Jamari Sharp. Got his eyes in the backfield a little bit on a play where Jamari Thrash, the explosive wide receiver from Louisville, ended up getting downfield. And then he comes back and shuts it down in the second half, right? So you give up the explosive play in the first half. You don't hang your head. You don't go into the tank. You take the coaching, you make the corrections, and then you come out and you execute it in the second half. I was really impressed the way that, Jamari Sharp and Phillip Dunham, again, young players that have continued to do that for IU in a number of different spots. So those are the 5 things that I really thought were important and encouraging from that Louisville game. There's plenty more out there, and we could sit here all day and talk about it. But I wanted to get into Akron here a little bit because this is a big game, right? This is a big game to close out the non-conference schedule on a winning note, and as you get ready to get set and get back into conference play with Maryland coming up at the end of the month, you want to have some confidence. You want to keep building the confidence of a young quarterback and of a defense still, working in new pieces and integrating new pieces and getting comfortable with the way things are going to roll from a game plan and play calling perspective. So this is a big game for that. Now, here's the thing. Akron's a well-coached football team. Joe Moorhead, is at Penn State. We know him well here in the Big Ten. Went down, coached Mississippi State, now back here at Akron. So, we know that they're going to be coached well. They'll have some good schemes on offense. And they throw the ball around. They throw the ball around a ton. So the names to know for me on offense for Akron, obviously the quarterback DJ Irons, is a guy that's kind of been getting the bulk of the reps, but they played a number of guys. They played 3 guys at quarterback thus far. But Irons, is a guy, who can definitely complete passes and really, finds his strength, at least to me, from what I have seen in the 0 to 12-yard range beyond the line of scrimmage. They've got a ton of completions in that short to middle range of the field. Now, once you get beyond 12, it's been, a little bit of a different story. That's where the completion percentage kind of gets inverted for Irons, who can run it too now. So you've got a little bit of a dual threat here, which, is going to take, from Ace's perspective, who was just with us here on IU Football Live, got to have some real, some adherence to scheme. And again, you got to trust your eyes. You got to make sure your eyes are in the right place. You got to read those keys and understand what your responsibilities are if a quarterback breaks contain and breaks the pocket, looks to get downfield. So that's one to know. Lorenzo Lingard, the running back, they've got a couple of different running backs, but to me, he's one of those guys that can hit you in the pass game too and run it. So, it's, again, one of those guys, kind of like the guys that we have here at IU, whether it's Jalen Lucas or Josh Henderson, can hurt you both ways. So, making sure to clamp down there and, just assert some dominance, which you'd love to see, from a team like IU here against Akron, up front, right? Set the tone early, put the pedal to the metal and keep it there the whole way, as Ace mentioned earlier. And then on the defensive side of the ball, it's kind of been interesting to watch CJ Nunley, who's kind of a long, rangy, kind of wiry defensive end. So you go back and watch that Morgan State game, which was Akron's second game and only win so far this year, an FCS opponent. Nunley had sacks on the very first 2 defensive snaps of that game, and dang near had a sack on 3rd down on that first series. So he's a guy that can get around the edge, right? He's got some good bend. He's got some speed and some athleticism. So again, something that the tackles for IU, whether it's Carter Smith, Josh Sales, or Khalil Benson over on the right side, got to be aware if CJ Nunley's on there because, he can bring some speed around the edge, in those obvious passing situations. So just a couple of things to watch out for there. But guys, I just think a lot to like, and I want to get to some of your comments and questions here that I've seen pop through, and I'll throw some of these out there. This is from Tony, who says, I kind of get above this thing here. It's a good comment, Tony. Feel like speaking for a lot of fans here. Any ideas why the playbook has been reserved in the first half of every game this year? When it's open, it seems to benefit the offense. So I'm going to pull this down here a little bit so I can actually talk to you. But what I would say here is, I wouldn't necessarily say it's being conservative, but it's also a setup, right? You're out there, and I don't know that was the case against Louisville. I thought in those first couple of drives, IU was in a great spot. By the way, you push the ball into territory each of those first couple of drives, you just don't get any points out of it. You got to find ways to stay on the field and convert first down. So I think with a young quarterback, what you want to make sure that you're doing is creating comfortability and confidence early. You get some high percentage throws like we saw against Louisville. Throw it out quick to Jalen Lucas out there. Let him go make a play. Throw it out quick to Cam or to Donovan McCulley or, and just let him go make some plays and just move the ball down the field. Positive plays right? And so I don't know that it's necessary if I would necessarily call it conservative, although that's probably a better description for the way the game plan worked in the first half, or the first game rather, against Ohio State. And I think Walt Bell and Tom Allen have said that, like, let's wanted to have an opportunity to win the game in the fourth quarter. And I think that's always a goal. So if you're seeing things as conservative, there's a reason to it, and there's a metric to it, and it's to create confidence, it's to create a competitive atmosphere for 60 minutes, right? And there are times where you're going to have to absolutely push it, whether that's explosive plays down the field, trick plays, which we've seen a couple of different times so far this season. And there will be. And I think the aggressiveness down the field in the pass game in particular will continue to develop as the young quarterback gets more reps and experience under his belt. And Taven has shown that he's got a tremendous arm. He's got a really fluid, natural throwing motion, and he's got a real knack for hitting guys downfield. And so we saw that in this game against Louisville a number of times. I think that'll continue to get out there. So appreciate Tony for throwing that comment in there. Mark, appreciate you. Thanks. Yeah, we'll do this each and every Thursday, Mark. 7 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have some guests, player guests. We'll also continue to connect with IU's NFL alumni. Look forward to having guys like Micah McFadden on, Raheem Lane, who's done a tremendous job for the Los Angeles Chargers the last couple of years. Nate Sudfeld, one of my good buddies. So we'll continue to do that. And so I appreciate you. And let's see what else Mark had to say here. Teams seem more organized this year. Defense tough, offense getting better. I think the last part there, defense tough, offense getting better, is a great way to describe what IU has been like this season. I came away so impressed with the defense and the way that they played against Ohio State. I mean, look, they just put up 60-something points against Western Kentucky. Yeah, they're getting more comfortable themselves with the new quarterback, but man, Aaron Casey, Andre Carter were, to me, two of the best players on the field in that game. And Ohio State's going to have a ton of dudes drafted offensively and defensively next year. So I think this defense is really playing well. I was really impressed with Nick Toomer. Hopefully he can get back healthy at the cornerback spot along with Kobe Minor. I think that's a real formidable duo to kind of rotate if need be at the cornerback spot opposite, whether it's Jamari Sharp, Jameer Johnson gets some reps in there too. And then look, the Stanford trio that transferred in here and are now, bona fide Hoosiers, man, I've been really impressed with. I mentioned Archer, talked about Toomer, but Jacob Mangum-Farrar, I mentioned it actually with, and asked Coach Chad Wilt about it earlier, earlier this week in something we've been doing every Monday, which we release also at 7 o'clock Eastern time, called Under the Hood with IU Football, presented by the Central Indiana Ford dealers. And where you get a chance to talk to the coaches about the game that just happened. And, I asked Coach Wilt about JMF and his real knack for getting pressure in blitz situations, from the second level, because you go back to that first game against Kyle McCord, he gets that tomahawk in there, forces that fumble. And I mean, like, forces that fumble, which, then we get, IU gets a turnover with the Philip Dunham interception later. Like, JMF's a real weapon right there next to Ace, and he's found some real comfortability there. I think he's really good in blitz situations, in addition to just being an all-around really solid linebacker for IU. And then we talked about Toomer and Archer there a little bit. Tony coming back there, just wondering why the offense seems to go east and west a lot. Well, the east and west part of it, Tony, is the idea that you're trying to find ways to get Jalen Lucas in space. And so getting him in a place where he can find some room to maneuver, make plays, make guys miss, that's where it's going to happen for the most part, east and west. And you want to get the opportunity, you want to get some of those high percentage completions. And then look, you're looking for 4 or 5 yards. It's kind of an extension of the run game a lot of times. And I think that's one of those things that gets kind of talked about a lot, but in a lot of ways it's true. And so I think you'll continue to see IU operate, east and west that way, if you want to call it that. I just call it attacking the perimeter. And you're going to try to find those matchup advantages wherever you can. And so, Indiana found that a number of times and had some real positive gains on those plays that went, to the perimeter. And then in the second half, they started really pushing it down the field on some of those, more intermediate routes, in-breaking routes, deep over type routes. And then Cam just beats his guy deep, and then you let one of those loose. So there's definitely potential for that, and we'll continue to see it continue to grow, I think, as again, as the quarterback gets more experience and as this offense gets more experience with him. But I've been really impressed. Really appreciate all you guys for being with us here on this first edition of Indiana Football Live. Again, we'll be back with you next Thursday to break down what we saw against Akron and get you ready for the Maryland game as IU gets back into conference play. But big one at the Rock. Let's pack the Rock. Wear that black. How about those ghost black unis, huh? I'm going to do my best to wear some black as well. Hope you guys do too. We see you at the Rock. We hear you, or you're able to hear us on the IU radio broadcast from Learfield. And then, of course, if you're watching the game, it's on Big Ten Network. So look forward to interacting with you guys for the rest of the season, and appreciate your attendance here tonight. And go Hoosiers.